Always remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow, that was a jump scare. Holy crow. Ladies and gentlemen, droids alike, happy Monday. Welcome back to Determined Focus. It is a Star Wars show where we talk about Star Wars. I am joined by the illustrious Grayson of Mortis FM. Grayson, how you feeling on this Monday?
Dude, I think I'm feeling better than you are. You're a little sniffly today.
I'm a little beat up today, ladies and germs. But we're good. We're alive and alive. And we're killing it. Hey, what did you want to start off with? You want to start off with what we're doing today? Why we're wearing matching T-shirts? Do you want to?
Yes.
Or do you want to talk about your other thing first?
I'll talk about that and then that, you know.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So if you've been not under the umbrella stratosphere, whatever you want to call it, whatever weird thing.
You went with umbrella and stratosphere when you could have just said rock.
Well, I didn't want to be mean. If you
rocks are mean.
Well, I didn't want to be like, unless you've been living under a rock.
Unless you've been living under a damn bridge.
We are running a giveaway with Gory Comics for this shirt specifically. Do or not, there is no try. Here we're big Yoda fans, which later on we are going to be talking about our favorite Yoda moments.
Woo!
But he was gracious enough to run a giveaway with us, and so hop on over to Instagram. You'll see it on literally any of our pages. Go share the post real quick and comment your favorite Yoda moment to enter the giveaway. And we are also running a discount code, which is it YFDYR15 on his website?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So in the case that there is something, look at
this guy.
Look at that beautiful graphic that William made.
Look at this guy. Don't use my full government on here. People don't know.
William of the Force. But yeah, so in case there's plenty of other really dope shirts on there. One of my favorites is the the Obi-Wan Samurai Vader shirt. I love that shirt. But in the case that maybe you don't win later, you can either go buy this one and get it at a discounted price, or you can just go buy another shirt that if you like the designs a lot. But yeah, so just follow those instructions. Comment your favorite Yoda moment. Like the post, share it real quick to your story, and I will make sure that you are entered in. Because right now, there's only like 10 people that are entered. So, you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah, you got a real good chance.
Yeah. So we want more the merrier. Follow all of us. Specifically, follow Gory Comics. Truly.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're gonna be doing. We'll keep bringing that up maybe a couple times throughout the stream. But in case you missed it, go do that. No, the framing is messing up. Okay. Oh God, I'm not Will.
We're back.
The other thing that I wanted to mention before we got into the meat and potatoes of the show, I'm quickly finding out, Will, that I am definitely the resident Star Wars guy in literally all of my circles, except like the actual Star Wars community that we are in. So whether literally at all my jobs, people are like asking me arbitrary Star Wars questions, and I'm realizing I know way too much. And one of my friends at work has been getting deep into the rabbit hole of Sith lore and all of this stuff. But he's like, we were talking about watching like the watch order of the movies, and I think this is gonna enrage some people, but I think I've found the definitive, like probably maybe one of the best ways to watch the movies for showing it to someone for the first time.
Okay.
So traditionally, I was really big on release order. Okay.
Okay. Just to make sure, this is how you should watch the Star Wars films definitively.
If you are showing it to someone for the first time.
Okay.
So I watch them chronologically now because obviously I've been raised and steeping in Star Wars for my entire life. I know it. I don't need to be like, I'm gonna watch. And sometimes I like to watch it in release order. And I still lean towards the release order. That means 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, and then whatever the like spinoffs I'm not as necessarily caught up about. However, today earlier we were talking a little bit about Return of the Jedi and the moment and like how good the Vader Luke stuff is and what got me thinking about that was this conversation with my friend where he was trying to show his girlfriend who had never seen Star Wars before for the first time, and I was like, okay, well, what order do you show it to her in? And he's like, well, we've watched 1, 2, 3, did chronological, and I was like, okay. I was like, kind of disagree with that, but you already watched 1, 2, 3, so like, you can't really go in that trajectory now. You can't do release order. But then we started thinking about it, and I was like, in my opinion, I think Return of the Jedi hits so much of why it does, and Vader's redemption and Luke pleading for him to come back and everything, because of what obviously the backstory of Anakin's fall from 1, 2, and 3. And we were talking about the Padme stuff, Obi-Wan, they're still good in him, all of this stuff. Please come back. This is my take. I think if you really want it to hit in the best possible way, the proper viewing order for showing someone Star Wars for the first time is episode 4, episode 5, episode 1, 2, 3, episode 6. And then you can do the sequels.
Okay.
Because then what happens is if someone who's never seen Star Wars, they watch the very first Star Wars movie, they watch Star Wars, A New Hope, right? And then they go into Empire, but then you get the reveal, right? You get the plot twist, but then you go back, and then you're like you see how everything unfolds, and then you go back to Return of the Jedi, especially when there's a time gap in between episode 5 and 6. And then you're like, oh my God, I understand. Like everything is clicking into place now. And then you really start to buy in of like, oh, maybe there is still good in Vader, right? And then when you're getting that talk on the bridge with Luke and Vader, and like, oh, Father, let go of your hate. It's too late for me, son. Like, and like, Obi-Wan once thought as you did, and everything. And then, like by the end of that movie, when you get to that, especially with like the special editions, and you see the Jedi Temple and everything like that. You've experienced kind of the originals, but then you got to experience the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the rise of Darth Vader, and then you get the return of Darth Vader, or return of Anakin Skywalker, I mean. That is my semi-spicy take.
I don't think it's too... So you start off really close to what my opinion is on this.
Okay.
I think the most important first watch thing ever is 4 and 5, mainly because the reveal of Luke as Vader's son is like the most important reveal in Star Wars.
Sure.
That's number one. I also think that you should then backtrack. However, I think the biggest thing is to watch, and if you're just going movies, that's a different thing. But mine is a little closer to the Sam Witwer approach, where Sam says to start off with Clone Wars. And get people to care about Anakin first, and then it's more fun to watch all of Anakin's fall, which is a little insane to me. But I lean a little bit more towards it, where for me it's 4, 5, 1, 2, Clone Wars, just because honestly, there's specific arcs, but like. For Clone Wars specifically, I would say most of the key points of Ahsoka's story are the key points of Anakin's that you need to see during the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Like, I can't think of an Ahsoka moment from Clone Wars that doesn't like really connect to Anakin's. You know what I mean? Like, even in the Ahsoka series, like the Battle of Ryloth, like that's a really good Anakin teaching moment.
Yep.
But it's for Ahsoka. Then you think of the Mortis arc, and like those are really good Anakin moments. But like also Ahsoka. Then you think of like Ahsoka leaving the Order. That's all Ahsoka, but that's so important to Anakin's development come Revenge of the Sith. Then you have all of Siege of Mandalore, Clone Wars Season 7, the last 4 episodes. Those are incredibly important to showing who Anakin was right before Revenge of the Sith. Then you watch Revenge of the Sith. Then you can watch Andor, and you can watch Rogue One. You can watch Solo, just because those are fun. But I think the most important thing to watch last, when I say last, I mean before the sequels, is Return of the Jedi, because it's more important to have that Luke reveal or the Vader reveal to Luke in Empire before watching all of that. But then it's more important to understand who Anakin is, because it makes Luke's return from Vader that much more important. So having 6 be the like definitive end for everything, I think is important.
At least for Anakin's arc,
Yes, because like you can really go about it one of two ways, which is like, how important is Luke's story and how important is Anakin's story in all of this? And like I said, I think Anakin's story is so deeply tied to moments of Ahsoka. Like, you could not watch all of Rebels and only watch the Twilight of the Apprentice stuff and understand why it makes more sense. I think Kenobi is also extremely important in that as well.
I agree. I don't even want to say my bite back. Like, I do agree with you. My main push against that, I guess, is that like for someone who you may not know if they're even going to like Star Wars,
I agree.
Like, hey, we also need to watch this 7-season animated show.
But that's why I'm saying you don't need to watch all of it. You just need to watch like the main, and that's why I say Ahsoka moments, because like other than like there's a lot of development that Anakin goes through there, but Anakin is so much of like the hero for all of this that there's like during Clone Wars, outside of like him killing what's his name with Satine and Obi-Wan, where he just stabs him. He's just like, like that's a big moment for Anakin.
I have 10,000 power and Rise of Kingdoms.
Yeah,
have you seen
he's
that?
Like,
have you seen that? It's what? I have 10,000 power.
Yeah, that's such a niche friggin' meme.
Another little side tangent. Then, speaking of Clone Wars, I think I have the 4 arcs down. Of if you were to watch Clone Wars and for those little plants, I have the 4 key stories in Clone Wars you should watch. The
4 most necessary Clone Wars arcs.
Yeah, specifically for Anakin and Ahsoka.
Okay.
The movie, that is an arc in and of itself.
Yeah.
Then the Mortis arc. Then the Wrong Jedi arc when Ahsoka gets accused. Then Siege of Mandalore. I feel like
that's what I'm saying, is like those are the 4 like pillars of Anakin's story in Clone Wars, but they're so directly related to Ahsoka's.
Right, yeah. And then truly you could go to like maybe some of the stuff the tail end of like Rebels and everything. But I still think it's better to kind of lock in maybe just towards the movies first and be like, also, there's this kind of whole other side of the story that you don't know about,
Do you think, without somebody knowing, watching Obi-Wan and Vader's fight is better or worse? If you were, what would you think it would be better for? Because like for us chronologically, we all saw Twilight of the Apprentice before we saw Anakin and Obi-Wan in Kenobi, right? We all saw Twilight of the Apprentice before Vader versus Kenobi in the Kenobi series. Do you think it is better to watch chronologically Kenobi Vader versus Twilight of the Apprentice, or release order watch Ahsoka versus Vader before you watch Kenobi versus Vader?
That one doesn't matter as much. I will say, if I had to choose, like truly, it would be in the timeline order of that, of Obi-Wan, Ahsoka versus Vader, and then Luke versus Vader. Like, I feel like, because you talk about the whole like mask side of things, but I also think it would be better to watch the fight between him and Kenobi before, obviously before A New Hope, because because then when you get the Obi-Wan of like Anakin's not left. Like at that point, like that's without like then my friend is truly dead, sort of thing.
Do
But
you
I
think
do think
it's
you can
better
watch
to
these.
watch Kenobi with? See, because that's the thing where I'm like, I really think watching A New Hope first is the best way to regardless of how else you go.
You just have to start with A New Hope, dude.
Starting with a New Hope makes more sense because I think the nostalgia of like knowing who Leia and Obi-Wan are and Luke is in A New Hope before watching that end scene of like Obi-Wan hugging young Leia in Kenobi, I think that hits so much harder. Like if you watched Kenobi first and then watched A New Hope, you'd be like, oh, of course they know each other. And you'd also be like, why is he lying? Like he, of course, knows
honestly think Kenobi would probably like truly would be better to just watch after watching the first 6 movies. I think it's just so supplementary.
Ooh, after the first 6.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even.
See, I don't know. I think watching that final battle between Vader and Kenobi makes Return of the Jedi so much more fun.
Sure, but it's just I don't know if it's necessary. You know, I don't know. I don't think it enhances. Like, I don't know. I like the idea. I like you watching it and then battle. Being like, you're like, oh, this is why it had to be Luke. You know. I don't know. Specifically that battle, sure, but the show itself, you've got to watch after the prequels. You can't be watching it before the prequels, right? Because of so much context of Leia and the moments about Obi-Wan being like, "Oh, you're so much like your mother," and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
also,
that,
you see Qui-Gon's Force Ghost, and you're like, "Oh, who's that guy?" And then you watch him die in Phantom Menace. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I can see the argument of watching it before Return of the Jedi. You know, I can see that.
Dude, I think watching that, at least that final battle, makes Return of the Jedi so much better because... And
it's the culmination of like all of these people have tried and have failed and it's not worked and only Luke can bring him back. Only Luke is the one to be like...
Yeah, it's the mask thing, right? Of Kenobi takes off one side, Ahsoka takes off the other. Luke is the only one to fully remove the entirety of the mask. That is the Return of the Jedi, right? I think that's a really incredible 1-2 punch, especially after watching Empire. Seeing those after watching Empire, because knowing that I killed your father. No, I am your father. Like hearing that and then being like, oh, this guy is the worst guy in the galaxy and he's Luke's dad. And then you know what happens in those 4 arcs of Clone Wars. And then you see him go against Obi-Wan and you're like, bro, like it's that joke of like people going into Revenge of the Sith and being like, hey, saw Revenge of the Sith again. Anakin still turned. Like it's that thing of like, it's more tragic when knowing all of this, because after Empire,
because that's why I think
if you really don't know anything about him, you hate Vader the way you're supposed to.
Yeah. But then you go to Return of the Jedi, and that's what really with this whole, regardless of whatever way you chop it, I still think, I don't know, like, I remember rewatching all of the movies in chronological order because I'd already seen them a billion times before Force Awakens coming out, and just sobbing at the end of Return of the Jedi because it's like, oh my God, like, you just like, him coming back and seeing the Force Ghost and seeing the galaxy brought back to freedom and everything is so powerful, because then you've realized all the built up to it. So, and I mean, at that point, Rebels was not out yet, you know, and Kenobi wasn't out yet. So obviously that's for fans of like us, that's huge. But yeah, I could see, but see, now I'm thinking, I'm like, man, okay, if I were to like show someone Star Wars for the first time and be like, okay, we're going to do what I pitched, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then 6. If I were to throw in Clone Wars and Kenobi and Rebels all before that, then it's like, I feel like whoever I'm going to be, if I was putting myself in their shoes, would be like, dang, man, I just want to get back to Luke and Vader, bro. Like, what was all these?
Yeah, I know, but
so you've got to like, you got to sprinkle and be like, hey, there's actually even more. Would you want to see that? You know, like you got to pitch it to someone who's like, they may hate Star Wars. So you gotta get in the psyche of like, what's going to be the best way to present this? What's going to get them the most emotionally attached? Because I don't think they're going to care about Ahsoka. You know, I think you got to watch.
See, that's the thing. I think Ahsoka is and not to say you don't think this, but like I think Ahsoka is such an anchor point for people caring about the entirety of the story of Star Wars that not having her there while you're watching, like, do I think George's 6 works without Ahsoka? Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
it's my favorite stuff. But knowing that I can show it to somebody for the first time and then have Ahsoka be inserted, like for me, if I could have had Ahsoka the entirety of my Star Wars fandom from when I was a kid, I'd be like, I wish Ahsoka had been there since day one. You know what I mean? So I just think her emotional, I think the emotional weight of Ahsoka's story,
it's great.
Helps somebody who doesn't know Star Wars win them over more without having Ahsoka. You know what I mean?
I love Ahsoka, but like again, it's just for someone who is not into it. Like if they want more, it's great, but I think it's not necessary. It's all supplementary. You know, it's awesome. I love it, but like the story of Star Wars is about Anakin and that family and Luke bringing him back, and then you get the stuff with Ahsoka, and that's great. But truly, hot take here, she is not crucial to Anakin's redemption.
See, I feel extremely different to that.
But what does she do? What does she do to help bring him back?
In the back of Vader's head, the entirety. Yeah, there we go, Luke. Did you see?
I love Ahsoka, but
I'm not saying you're not. I think for me, my problem is I have a lot of inserted headcanon for Return of the Jedi and I've talked to you about this before, of Anakin's thoughts as Vader before he is brought back to the light. And I think a lot of that is flashbacks of Padme, of Ahsoka, of Obi-Wan, and then now looking at Luke. And I just think that there's like Twilight of the Apprentice when he essentially kills Ahsoka, and that's another thing. We don't know what happens there. But like
we had a whole episode about that.
Yeah. When Vader goes up against Ahsoka and says, "You will die," he has now done that to Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. He's done that to Obi-Wan twice at come time for Return of the Jedi, and he's fought Luke in Empire. Like, he did it
Obi-Wan 3 times.
Oh, I guess if you can't Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah, but I mean like as like in the suit Vader. And I know he's Vader on Mustafar, okay? I know there's the hot toy with the Sith eyes on all that, okay? I know that's Vader. But like I think that version of Vader where he's like, "It is too late for me, my son." Like that line, that holds the weight of everything with Ahsoka, of the end of Clone Wars Season 7, where he ignites Ahsoka's lightsaber and he sees the clone trooper helmet. Like I think in an instant, Vader sees all of that. And then when he finally brings Luke back, the entirety of that and Luke's fight, like Vader is doing more work in Return of the Jedi when he is fighting Luke to stay true to Vader than he is to Anakin. And I think that's why that fight is so cool, because in Revenge of the Sith, when it's Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Anakin is, and I know people don't like this, Vader is pushing down Anakin, right? He is trying to kill Anakin in that moment. And he is so far plunging into himself as that Sith Lord. In Return of the Jedi, Anakin is butting up so high, but he is trying to... Vader doesn't want to kill Leia. He wants to bring her on. The entirety of that fight is not, "I want to kill you," where on Mustafar, he is trying to kill Obi-Wan. He is like, "I will fight you until you are broken, and then you join me." Which is also kind of what he does with Ahsoka. He's like, "Then you will die." But I don't really think Vader was trying to kill Ahsoka in that moment, which is also might be a hot take. You know what I mean? I just think the people in Vader's life are so they weigh so heavily on the psyche of Anakin Skywalker that come Return of the Jedi, which, in my opinion, yes, it's about the return of Luke as the Jedi and then him going to start the Jedi Order and all that stuff. But obviously, it's about Anakin coming back and the Jedi, the chosen one, returning, right?
Yeah.
I just think so much of that is due to the wrongs that he has lived in his life with Padme, with Ahsoka, with Obi-Wan. Like, he knows at that moment that he's lost everyone in his life is gone. He is a lapdog for Palpatine, and he realizes on that bridge. He even compliments Luke. He's like, "You are so powerful. Oh, I see your training is complete. You finally built your lightsaber." He's trying to be like that dad that left to go get milk and then came back, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go play catch?" He's like, "Dad, I'm 50." Like, he's trying to be that dad and connect on some level because he's like, "Oh my gosh, I've wronged him this entire time. We can rule the galaxy together." So I don't know. I just think it hits a little bit harder.
I agree to an extent. For me, my headcanon, and I do think, and it's mainly because of the freshness of Revenge of the Sith and everything, and us maybe even reading the novelization, I think if you were to divide it up into percentages, I feel like at least 70% of that is him thinking of Padme and being like, "This is my son." I don't know if you've seen that art. It's from that like Scat Arts guy, and there's a skeleton on the shoulder, and he's just like, "It's too late for you. You failed. Palpatine is your master. Like, do do his bidding. Like, you are one, like your dark side. All of this stuff, and it's all of these thoughts. But then it cuts over to Anakin, and it's just, but he's my son, and it's him. It's the whole thing of like." You realize when you could have saved her, but you did it, in the Revenge of the Sith novelization. And I think truly, and maybe in that fight, yes, he's probably thinking of the Ahsoka and Kenobi stuff. Absolutely. I completely agree. But when it comes down to them, like the final moments of that fight, and he's seeing Luke being electrocuted, I think all he can think of in that moment is Padme and being like, "This is my opportunity."
Really?
I think it has to be. It's not. I don't think it's Obi. I think because that's the crux, right? It's all with her.
Do you want to know what I really in my head canon, what I think would be sick, and I would love. So, hey, any artists out there who want to take this on would love to see this. While from Vader's perspective, over the shoulder, while he is seeing Luke being electrocuted, it's not a Force ghost. But he sees Padme, he sees Obi-Wan, and he sees Ahsoka standing right there being like, "I will not do this to another person in my life." You know what I mean? And the most important, my child.
It's like I view it like a comic panel or like a stained glass window, because we got like that Rise of Skywalker.
That's what's in my head.
Bam, bam, bam. Like, Ahsoka, Padme, Qui-Gon, Yoda.
Qui-Gon and Yoda being there too is so important.
Yeah, and it's all of that, and then it's like do, and then it's centered on Vader, and then you like, and it could even just be a picture of like, and then it cuts to a panel, and it's just of Anakin's face, right? Like, or his eyes.
It's truly without him saying it. You could insert when Anakin says, "What have I done?" after slicing off Mace's hand in that moment. Like, while he is, "What have I done?" And then that's his moment of being able to take care of what he is doing. Because so much like...
It's the same, yeah.
It's literally the exact same thing. Palpatine is electrocuting this person who is saying, "We need to defeat him together." And Anakin in Revenge of the Sith slices off his arm and throws him out the window. But instead, in that same moment, he is watching this person is on the ground being electrocuted in that same moment, rather than slicing off his hand, which, I mean, you could say he already did a couple months before in Empire, but slicing off his hand, he decides to help in that moment and never again. It is not too late for me, son. And seeing what Ahsoka means to him, I just think I don't know.
It's even because another thing that I think of is in Empire, when he has the call with Palpatine, and Palpatine's like, "He could destroy us," and Vader is just like, "He's just a boy."
Yeah.
And you're like, the inklings are already there of being like, "Oh my God, this is my son." You know, this
because
is
here's the thing: Vader's not
Padme's
trying to
son.
kill him in Empire either.
Mm-mm. He's only trying to turn him.
Yeah, when you watch that movie for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, he's just slicing at him. He's just trying to kill him. But like, he even lets Luke get that slice on his arm off, where he's just toying with him the entirety of that time. And then once he gets that blow, he's like, all right, I need to, hey, like we've had our fun, son, but now this is why I was told I was the chosen one. Like he gets a little confident and he oversteps. So I just think like, I don't know. I mean,
obviously,
and even when you think of like Rebels too, when Vader's in the TIE fighter and like they sense each other.
The apprentice lives.
Like, dude, he immediately is like, okay, I have my focus now. You know?
Yeah. I do think so much of the weird, obviously, I think you agree with this. Obviously, the fight between Kenobi and Vader in the Kenobi series, and then the Ahsoka Vader fight is so much for their characters more so than Vader. But it obviously
100%.
It obviously is still a huge portion of like, again, the trickle of like, oh man, he's having these confrontations and it's the wearing him down sort of thing. But he's always like, no, this is making me stronger. It's strong, but he doesn't realize like it is tearing away at him. But then it's the crap, this is my son. Oh, I have a daughter now too. Oh my God, you know, like because we have to Gory Comics. By the way, doing the giveaway. Remember, go in on Instagram, come back right back. We're doing it announcing at the end of the stream. And also but enter code YFDYR15 on the website if you want some of the other stuff. But he said you need to go to a local university and present a case study on how to properly watch all Star Wars and let them conduct an experiment with people who haven't seen any Star Wars.
Dude, that would be a fun panel if we did that at a convention.
How would we? Man, you'd have to.
We would have to run it like a PowerPoint.
Well, and also like it's like an experiment. You'd have to have like you'd have to have like a group of people. Like you'd have to get like a certain population of people, and you have to do like a certain amount, and you'd have to like pick it at random. But then again, you'd have to be like, how do you measure that result? You know, like what is the statistic there to be like? Is it just them arguing at each other, being like, I liked it this way more, or I liked it this way more? You know, like.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to like have them watch it for the first time multiple ways.
Right. So it would have to be like you'd have to be like people who've never seen Star Wars. You'd have to incentivize them to watch it. But then I also think you'd have to like not let them know that they're watching it in different ways. Like I think that would be interesting for them to be then.
Yeah. So what you would have to do is do like a rating system of like, everybody has the same rating system, but the rating system correlates to like people who watched it 4 through 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then 6 said that it was a 10 out of 10 experience. People who watched it in release order said it was a 7 out of 7 or 7 out of 10 experience. People who watched it chronologically said it was and then be like, this group of people enjoyed it the most out of the entirety of the watch experience. That would be kind of crazy.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that's what I like. That like having like a rating system like that. And
I can think of like 6 people in my life that I could get to watch who have never seen Star Wars at all, who know Star Wars obviously because of me, but who I could be like, okay, you have to watch it in this order, please. Don't use your phone. Just like I need you to do this. You can take it. You can take a month to do it.
Yeah,
but.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah.
Person is like, wait, you only watch the movies? I watched Clone Wars. Oh no. On my back.
Yeah.
Oh god. Sorry, my internet wigged out.
You're back.
I'm back, I think.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Go away.
You weren't bad for that long.
They're like, one guy is like, wait, I watched all of this other stuff. You guys only watch the movies.
Well, like, yeah, right. Like, not to be a scientist, but like, they don't know that they're up against other people. And that's like, when you give them a rating of like 1 through 10, that's entirely their personal preference.
Like, ideally, you would pick like 30 people, and then it would be like 10, 10, 10. And yeah, there's going to be like some big skewing because some people just may not like Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be 100% accurate, but like, and it would be very heavily opinion based, but it would be interesting to be like, to hear them be like, oh man, it was so cool to to get to this point and then be like, oh, I see Anakin's fall, versus someone to be like, I knew Anakin's fall the whole time and that was so interesting, but like I had a hard time getting into the politics in the beginning. You know, I don't know.
Then you could have each of those 10, that group of 10, do like a round table of like when they do like, okay, so this is what the slogan of Burger King is going to be. Like you do like that, like the focus group, and you have those 10 people explain why they rated each thing the best way. So like you'd be like, okay, these 10 people all watched Star Wars in release order, and then they're going to explain what they liked about it, what they didn't, not knowing that other people did as well, right? Then the same thing with the other 10 and the other 10, and then you take the people who rated like all 7s. Hey, you guys all rated it 7, but you watched it this way, you watched it this way, and you watched it this way. Same thing with the 10s, same thing with the 1s. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, Gory D-Streams, he said, you just have one watch Spaceballs.
And then you have one watch the original trilogy, but it's only the Family Guy original trilogy.
They're like, what the hell am I watching right now?
something Dark Side, Blue Harvest, and what's Return of the Jedi?
I don't remember.
I just anytime Jabba the Hutt talks, I just think of Mila Kunis.
Yeah. I always think of the John Williams like bum bum, and it goes to like 12 different times.
Or in he's this is Empire, but when Peter's shooting the inside of the asteroid, wait a minute, hold on a second, give me a moment, and he just keeps shooting it. And they shake. So oh my dumb, god! Dude. Oh, it's a trap, of course.
Oh, okay, yeah, duh.
Yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah. Oh, there. May the Lord be with you. Coming in clutch, like right at the last second.
Yeah, dude.
But no, the focus group thing that'd be interesting. Yeah, like that'd be like a full like 45-minute video right there of us like recording roundtables and like getting. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be insane,
dude. That would be awesome. Imagine working on that for a year. Like that's just a year case study,
like a full like documentary. Only it's like the most diehard like, and then we do a one the next year, which is AT-AT versus AT-ST. That's just
we had these 30 people watch Star Wars in different ways to decide is it AT-AT or AT-AT.
Like it totally just
we come back. It's like it's like Ted doing the Margaritaville thing. It's like, okay, we went back to the same 30, but we had them decide. That's so funny. Damn. Should we talk about Yoda now?
Yes. Once again, enter the Gory Comics giveaway on Instagram if you haven't already. You have a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Yoda moments. Specifically, we're going to talk about we're kind of doing a hybrid Mount Rushmore top 5.
Yeah.
It's basically just like picking the pantheon of like, we'll call it that, the pantheon, even though pantheon's probably like 12 or something. And we already said one that I think is gonna be, that I think we both agree is in the top 5. It's in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And it's The Last Jedi.
Now, do you want to do just movies for this, or are we also doing animation?
Why don't we have some fun and make it animation too? Because I think you're gonna,
because there's a lot in animation.
I also think, I think you're gonna remind me of a lot of them. Because I'm blanking on a good chunk of the animated ones.
Okay. These are the most iconic, the top 5 most iconic Yoda moments.
Do you have your list right now?
I have my list.
Okay, I have not made a list, but I have a mind's eye of what I have in my top 5.
In my mind's eye,
Yoda. Alternate universe where Darth Maul just hates Yoda for no reason.
See him I can in my mind's eye.
See, Sonny, this is why both Young Jedi Adventures and Resistance are high on my priority and something that we intend to cover this year.
God, yeah, I know. We have to do that would actually be really fun if we just did an entire Young Jedi Adventures. Like,
I don't think it would take long. Dante from Rebel Scum, by the way, shout out Rebel Scum guys. If you missed it last week, big old live stream with the Rebel Scum guys. But Dante, he has kids, and he is a huge Young Jedi Adventures fan. And everybody that I talk to that watches, people are like, it's awesome, even if you don't know anything about the High Republic. But, okay, sorry. Anyway, Yoda, top 5.
Okay, hold on. I know my top 5, but let me just write them down. Anakin.
I have my top 3, like at least. The other 2 is where it kind of. I'm gonna write these down. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna write anything down at all.
Okay.
He's thinking. He's writing.
No. I got it. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to put them out of order. Okay. So these are my 5.
Okay.
And we can. Young Jedi Adventure
over.
propaganda is actually working.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Yoda and Anakin's conversation in Revenge of the Sith. When Anakin is has the blinder, like the blinds are there, and it's the crossbeam, and he's got the shadow, and one's in the light, and one's in the dark.
Everything you fear to lose.
I think that is such an important moment, and kind of like how you said earlier about Obi-Wan and Ahsoka when they meet Vader, it's a little bit more for Ahsoka and Kenobi. That moment is so much for Anakin, but it is also Yoda realizing that he is at the end of the Clone Wars and that everything is falling into place. And I think there is a little part of Yoda that always thinks, I think we did the wrong thing I should have gone with my instincts initially of not letting Anakin into the Order. In the Phantom Menace. I think that's like, I also don't have any Yoda Phantom Menace scenes on this 5, which I think might be a hot take for some because of the
I have one that's an honorable mention. I don't know if it makes it to the top 5.
Okay. My number 4 is Yoda and Luke's final speech in Return of the Jedi before he turns into a Force ghost.
So when he actually does reveal that, like, he's like, is Vader my father? You know?
Yep. All of that where he's yep. Your sister. Where all of that I think is like that's the first, because Return of the Jedi is also the first Star Wars movie I ever watched. That is the first like Yoda stuff that I when I was a kid. Was Return of the Jedi because I thought it had the coolest cover out of the 3 special edition boxes.
I did not know. That makes so much sense now.
I watched them out of order, but Return of the Jedi is the first one that I ever watched because out of the 3 covers, that one I thought was the coolest from the special editions, where it's like got Jabba's face and it's green and there's Chewbacca and Luke and Vader are fighting, because on the special edition for Empire, it's just Vader's head with Palpatine's face and then like the big Star Destroyer. And then there's a New Hope where it's like Luke and Han and Leia and all of them. Like it's that art. But like I always, and I still do, think the Return of the Jedi special edition cover is my favorite.
What is the one that I always think of for Return of the Jedi is the one where it's Luke with the green saber, and then that's all I can think of. It's just him like holding.
That was one of the DVD releases.
That's what I'm thinking of. So what are you thinking of? You're thinking of
I'm thinking
VHS?
of the VHS special edition. I've got the comic. Oh, where is it?
Pulling it up right now.
Here, I can pull it up on stream. That way people are talking about it.
Oh, yeah, true. Probably. I'm because I know the special edition for A New Hope.
Dude, it's so sick. This cover rules. This one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, duh. Yeah,
dude, this cover rules.
Yeah.
Like that, dude.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's great. I love that text as well for Jedi. That's like such
a classic. Gosh, it's so cool. I found a patch on what?
That that one right there.
This one?
Yeah.
This is the comic cover for the 40th. This is when I said I had the comic. I have this, dude. They released this. So they released a ton of those, like the Return of the Jedi, like moment covers. I think there was like 43 of them or something like that. And all of those are like so sick. I think I have one right here.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, dude. Like this one with
bro, that's Oh yeah, because they love to do that with the covers. Yep.
And so this is for bounty hunters, but this is 31 of 40. There's also there's one that's really cool of the moment that Luke is taking off Vader's helmet. I've got the Force Ghosts there, but it's a comic cover for the Doctor After series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are sick, dude.
Yeah.
But okay, so yes, Return of the Jedi, Yoda, number 4. My number 3 is, this is one of my favorite Yoda lines of all time, is Yoda and Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, when Obi-Wan is looking for he's looking for the Jedi archives, and Kamino has been erased.
Kamino.
And he brings up the children and he throws up the star map. Incredible the mind of the child is. Like
That's in your top 5?
Dude, I love that moment because that's what I think of when I think of Yoda as a teacher. You know what I mean? Like, he's this old wise master, and so many people put Yoda on blast for, like, he's the reason the Jedi Order failed. He was in charge of it, right? And he couldn't see all of that coming. I cannot stand that, because as much as Yoda's, like, yes, the captain goes down with the ship sort of deal with all of this, at no point in Yoda's life, from what we know, was he ever moving without what he thought was morally correct and without love in his heart at any moment. Like, yeah, he made the wrong decision, but also Obi-Wan did. Also, the entirety of the Order did. The entire council made the wrong decisions. Like,
it's also like some of the stuff you can't even fully blame on them, because it was Palpatine, bro. Like, he played them. Like, he played them. You know, it's not like it was just like, man, it just all fell apart because of them. I'm like, no, Palpatine was a genius, bro. Like, and so much was shrouded in the dark side that it was impossible. They were like, we don't know what the next move to make is. They just happened to make a lot of wrong ones because of it, you know? They're not indefensible, but they're definitely not like the prime problem. But yeah, I mean, that moment in Attack of the Clones, to see the Jedi, him training the younglings before,
and he's also like, it's also awesome because he's like kind of like pulling Kenobi's leg. He's like, oh, Master Kenobi lost an entire system, and all the kids laugh. Like, dude, that is some of the best Yoda ever in that moment.
It's the closest to seeing the very whimsical Yoda in Empire Strikes Back.
100%.
Those bookends of like him training these kids, and then he's training Luke, but Luke is like, you know, like, these kids are easier to train than Luke is, because Luke's like, we're wasting our time, you know, like,
what am I doing here? We're wasting our time. Ooh, and he bumps his head. Yeah, dude, that moment is so good, because it's like, everybody loves Yoda as this like figure of Star Wars, but in that moment, you're like, Yoda. Like, it's like a heartwarming thing with Yoda, and he helps Obi-Wan in that moment. Like, he does exactly what he's supposed to. And in that moment, he truly is the well, he's not 900 at that point, but like the very old wise master, where he is able to help the entire range of Jedi, from Padawan to Kenobi, who is this great Jedi master who becomes one of the most storied Jedi in the galaxy. And he's able to teach those children in that moment, and he's able to teach those Kenobi in that moment. And regardless of their age or their experience, he is able to teach both as students and as a great teacher. And that is why Yoda is so dang cool. Which my next 2 moments are like the pinnacle of Yoda being a teacher. My number 2 is Yoda raising the X-Wing in Empire.
Of course, dude.
I also loop in Yoda speaking about the Force. The luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Like, I loop that in with Yoda lifting the X-Wing, because the entirety of like, it's all fluid, that education in that moment. It's him giving Luke the tools, and then Luke failing, and then Yoda showing him what happens if you believe, and that is why you fail. That mic drop of, I don't believe it, that is why you fail. Every time I think of that, I love your focus determines your reality. It's the exact same thing. I don't believe that is why you fail. It is truly, he could have said your focus determines your reality in that moment, and it would have meant the exact same thing. It is why I think your focus determines your reality is the best lesson in Star Wars, because kind of like him talking to the younglings and talking to Kenobi, no matter your age, no matter your range or where you are, that is truly the most important thing that you can take on in your life. And that's why my number one is Yoda and The Last Jedi. The greatest teacher failure is. Because
we are what they grow beyond.
We are what they grow beyond, because the moment where he leaves, he gives that mic drop to Luke of that is why you fail. Because you don't believe. But then in The Last Jedi, it's you're not wrong for failing. You're right for failing. And that is why it's better. That is 100% why Yoda is one of the best of all time, why Star Wars is so important in that moment, and why Yoda is such a great teacher, because he's not trying to get Luke in that moment where he's like, you don't believe it? That's why you fail. He's telling Luke that's why he fails. He doesn't fail because he doesn't believe it, which, yeah, he does. He fails so he can continue to learn and believe deeper. And that is what is so important about that line in The Last Jedi.
That line is also such a reminder to Luke of the moment we see which ties so much to Yoda in Book of Boba Fett, where he's like, always get back up. And Luke has lost sight of that, right? Like that's Yoda being like, yeah, dude, you failed. You keep going, you grow, right? And Luke has forgotten that. He's lost the plot, and he's like, man, yeah, he's right. And then he goes and listen, I don't care what anybody's. We were talking about this earlier today. Like when Last Jedi, people always talk about like, oh, Last Jedi ruined Luke's character or whatever, and it's like you're entitled to your opinion, the way you see Luke. Everybody sees Luke Skywalker in a very different way. When I watched,
I used to hate it. But
then I'm like, bro, when he goes out in Crate and he's force projecting and he's flipping around like a madman and he's taunting, and I'm like,
he's the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy of ever.
I'm like, pure Luke Skywalker. He's back on site. He's back on track. He did exactly what he needed to do. And I just realized how much also that moment parallels to Obi-Wan, bro.
Yep.
To Obi-Wan sacrificing himself unto a new hope. Of being this is what I need to do.
It's perfect.
Anyway, we're getting into Luke Skywalker stuff, but it changed from Yoda, man. It changed from Yoda.
Yep. And Obi-Wan would have never become Obi-Wan would have never learned how to become a Force Ghost without Yoda explaining that he's been communing with Qui-Gon, which was almost on this list of that deleted, but it's also a deleted scene. So I didn't want to of Yoda talking to Qui-Gon in that deleted scene.
Is an honorable mention of being like of Yoda talking to Obi-Wan in Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, where he's just like a voice from the past I've been communing with, or whatever he says, and he's like,
yeah, that I like. I cannot think of that scene without thinking of Yoda hearing Qui-Gon's voice in Revenge of the Sith. Like that deleted scene, I can't think of that moment without hearing the...
So we talked a little bit about it when we read the book. That's in the book, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
When he's talking to Qui-Gon,
yep.
Right before they're like, hey, she's about to have the babies sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, dude, speaking of book moments, this reminded me of that too when you brought up Luke talking about Yoda in Book of Boba Fett. That panel that Connor sent, and I really need to read it. The Rise of Skywalker final issues of the
I'm waiting
comic
for the graphic
series
novel to come out.
But bro, when it's Ben Solo and Rey back to back, and he's like, it's just like Master Luke always said, do or do not, there is no try. And he's saying because Luke always said that, because that's the lesson he learned from Yoda in the exact same way.
Say that in the movie?
I've never heard him. I don't remember Luke ever saying that, but just the idea that always get back up, and so much of Luke's teachings derive from Yoda's teachings throughout the entirety of his order. Damn, that's so cool. Ugh.
Yeah. It's really good,
dude. Those are my five, and there's so many more moments. Like we talked about it the other day. Like it's no dialogue, but Ahsoka turning back and seeing Yoda and Rebels when they're leaving the temple on Lothal, and he just that's like
all of the moments of Yoda and that temple with Ezra as well, where Ezra goes there and he only hears the voice, but then later on when he gets the kyber crystal and then he goes back and then he actually sees Yoda, which is
exactly what Sam Witwer was saying about leaving your door open and you believing more. The Force will appear to you in more ways than just believing.
It's the Anakin thing and Ahsoka, bro. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yoda, listen, I know Yoda looks like a crackhead in Rebels, but
that is the worst Yoda has ever looked. And I say that thinking of Yoda in The Last Jedi, dude. Yoda in The Last Jedi looks like a drowned Muppet. Like, it is bad.
It's not as bad as pre-CG puppet Yoda in Phantom Menace.
I would take pre-CG puppet Yoda over that weird wrinkled mouth face Yoda in The Last Jedi.
No way, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, if we're comparing puppets, Yoda in The Phantom Menace looks better than Yoda puppet does in The Last Jedi.
No, there's a reason why they CG'd it. The Yoda puppet in Last Jedi is good.
The reason George CG'd it is because he wanted to CG everything at that time. Okay?
No, but
he would have CG'd Anakin and Obi-Wan if he could have.
It's because the puppet looks like E.T., bro. Like, it doesn't.
I will stand by practical effects, and I love them. And I also love, dude, the practical effects in Last Jedi. Like, it's that great. It was a puppet. I was in tears during The Last Jedi. There's a lot of that movie where I'm like, what are we doing right now? I went on my first watch when I was sitting in the theater. I was like, I don't understand this. I don't get it. But then it got to that moment and I was like, oh, we're back, dude. And I was in tears. And then a lot of other stuff happens and I'm like, okay, like that's cool. Like, Luke is a Force ghost. Like, that's a Force projection. That's pretty sick. Like, there's a lot in that movie that I really enjoy. Especially as I get older, that movie means so much more to me as I get older. And Luke's portrayal in that movie means so much more to me as I get older. Say what you will about the movies, but like, there's so much good in those movies, dude.
Bro, I mean, listen, you already know, people have been seeing it if they follow me on Instagram. I've been on my Kylo Ren like BS again, bro. And listen, weirdly, like Kylo, I really don't care what anybody says. I think Kylo Ren from Force Awakens to Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker, incredible. Maybe the only decision I don't like is him.
Part of sequels.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, like, I will say I don't love him rebuilding the mask, but I love the design so much that I'm like, by the way, I think you may have turned yourself down just a little bit.
I what?
Okay, you're good now. You got like really quiet for a second, and I was like, but
weird.
Dude, in Last Jedi, bro, like I found this out recently that helped me so much more of understanding Kylo's character, and I'm also currently reading Shadow of the Sith, for Tales from the Archives, which I am. Oh my gosh, that book, dude, is so good, bro.
This is it, dude. This is it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's insane. But anyway, and Ben Solo shows up for a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I need a full series of this right now. Leia and Luke and all of them he never found out. First of all, they hid from him that Vader was his grandfather. They knew that his grandfather was Anakin Skywalker.
Yep.
But then on top of that, they never told him that Vader was redeemed. He found out about that, and then he never knew that that Vader came back.
Yep.
Because they were, and I was like, dude, that makes so much more sense of him, like, and him fixating on that side, right? Like, had they just been open and honest and told him the truth, so much would have been different. And I get it, like, I understand it, but it's like,
like the Nogri in Heir to the Empire. It's because they're so into Vader, and then Leia's like, hey, actually, this is what happened, and they're like, oh, so they switch up.
And there's also kind of not a reason for them to tell him, because they don't realize that he's worshiping that Vader mask. Like at the point of the movies, like it's just him at that point, you know. He's not like, by the way, Uncle, I've been worshiping Darth Vader, our grandfather. Like,
Do you
then
know
Luke
who I
would've been
think
like,
is really cool?
yeah, like they just think he falls to the dark side because Snoke has been planting those voices in and using, and of course that ends up being Palpatine, which is like, I don't, especially Shadow of the Sith, bro. It's getting in it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. I've been like, and I know there's also like I'm 50-50 on the take of like, should he have died? Should he have not have? I could go either way. But it's
I would just like, I get why he died, and I
World Between
understand,
Worlds,
like,
World Between Worlds, please.
God, I would love more Ben Solo.
I don't know. I've shown you this art 1,000,000,001 times, but it's Yuzuri art. She does amazing artwork. She did one of Ben Solo post Rise of Skywalker if he had lived, and she did Finn if he was a Jedi Master, and both of them are such peak character design.
Just gas, dude.
It's so good. He's got the full jacket. He's got the dice as the necklace. He's got the pistol that he got from Lando. He's got his lightsaber back in blue. Like,
just insanely cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yoda moments. We're pretty close here. Truly, like,
okay.
There's only Last Jedi moment, absolutely. Raising the X-wing moment, absolutely.
Okay, go 5. Start at 5 for you. What's your number 5? And that way you know your number 1. Because I want to know your number 1.
Number 1 is Last Jedi, for sure.
Cool.
What was your 3?
My 3 was Obi-Wan in episode 2.
Okay, that one's probably not on my list. That one's an honorable mention.
I just like that moment so much.
That one's like a 6 or a 7 for me.
Yeah.
What was your 4 and 5? Remind me again.
My 4 was Yoda in Return of the Jedi with Anakin, or with Luke, that last speech, and then my 5 was Yoda and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith when they're in the meditation room.
Okay, so that one's probably my number 4. The meditation
Yoda and
room.
Anakin. Okay.
Yeah, and where he's like, death is a natural part of life. Mourn them, do not miss them, do not.
Yep.
I quote that so much because I'm not gonna lie, that line helped me so much about like perceiving like death and
there is no death.
Everything.
There is the Force.
Yeah, truly. And also it ties into a lot of Yoda in the Force Unleashed 2 reveal trailer where he's walking down the hall and he's got Vader's voice and then he's got Yoda's voice and everything.
Dude,
underrated moment was in Yoda in Force Unleashed 2.
I didn't even think of that.
I know that's like not canon, but still, like that's a great little scene. But yeah, when he's walking down the hall and
damn, I love that moment too. Damn,
you're so Force Unleashed 2 pilled.
And that's and he's wearing the flight suit.
Yeah. Big
only what you take with you.
So that's okay. See, that is, I think, if I had to replace it, the cave scene of where he's talking about what is it? Luke specifically asks right before that moment, and then Yoda goes, "Only what you take with you."
He's your weapons, you will not need them.
But he's but then he says is it dangerous or is there any danger or something? What does he say specifically?
I would have
but it's
to pull
that
it
line where it's such a parallel of basically like it means so much more than not physically. It's more so like basically don't bring your fear with you sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like don't be afraid.
Your focus determines your reality.
I mean, it all comes back to that, doesn't it? It all connects. Yeah. So 5 is okay.
I'm pulling it up, by the way, just so we know what it is, because now I just want to watch it. So
okay, that's fine. My 5 is. Are we watching it right now?
Do you want to watch it, or do you want to talk about it?
I want to watch it.
Okay. Just because I want to know what he says specifically. I always think of that too.
Yeah. Guys, a little watch party.
Not right.
Oh.
I feel cold.
That place is strong with the dark side of the Force, a domain of evil.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Okay.
And you must go.
What's in there?
Only what you take with you.
There it is. What's in there?
Yeah, and it means so much of just of your fear, of your emotions, and that's so much of what Anakin did is so much of what he brought with him. It also kind of connects to that line in Rogue One of like, I sense your prison is with you wherever you go, sort of thing.
Dude.
But that's kind of what it is, where it's like Yoda is like, he's obviously, Luke is asking physically what's in there, but Yoda's like, truly, it's whatever you are carrying with you. So that moment is probably, that might be my number 4. My number 5 is probably, listen.
Wait, that's your number 4?
That's my number 4.
Okay, you have
number 5.
You have Yoda and
5.
Anakin at number 4.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so then that's my number 3. The cave, the only what you take with you is my number 3. My number 5, I'm struggling here. I think I'm gonna lean towards this one. It's Yoda versus Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. I love.
Did you see what Corey Comics said?
Yeah, just mine.
Like, well,
mine.
there it is. Yoda Palpatine.
That's a classic. But yeah, no, I think my number 5 is Yoda versus Palpatine. Just because that fight it's such a cool fight, but also when he's like, I will always think of, and I mentioned it like back when Revenge of the Sith, the 20th anniversary, when he just walks in the door and just throws the guards to the side and they immediately knocked unconscious, and I'm just like, this is so great. But then what does he say? He's like, if so sure you are, why leave? Or so confident you are, why leave?
Yeah.
Listen, people clown on this line all the time. It's just like, not if anything to say about it, I have. I just love that dude. Like, and just the, oh my god.
And it's close up on his eyes too, because it's zooming in. Yeah, dude.
And him just throwing Palpatine into the chair, like just slam dunking him. I'm like,
dude,
it's just great. So that's just
Yoda aura farming with those royal guards.
Yeah, just bloop, and he's just like hobbling in. So that's my 5.
So what's your 2?
So number 4 is the Anakin Yoda, death is a natural part of life. Number 3 is only what you take with you, and then number 2 is the X-wing.
So we had the same 2.
And then number 1 is Last Jedi. Greatest teacher failure is we are what they grow beyond.
Because
page turners they are not.
Dude, read them, have you? The 1-2 punch of Yoda lifting the X-wing and then the greatest teacher failure is that trilogy of Luke understanding that teaching of Yoda lifting the X-wing, that is why you fail. The greatest teacher failure is to then Luke lifting the X-wing in Rise of Skywalker is the greatest. That is the trilogy of your focus determines your reality right there.
Yeah. I don't care. By the way, I don't care what anybody says. Luke lifting the X-wing and him being the Yoda in that movie. And yet people can say all the time of like, oh, they're retconning things in Last Jedi. But I'm like, but people forget like Luke learned his lesson in Last Jedi. He sacrificed himself and he's just like, that's not who I am anymore. He became, he returned back to the form of Jedi Grand Master Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, dude.
And that's him teaching Rey that moment, because then Rey has her moment, but yeah, I agree that bam, bam, bam is just incredible. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
dude.
cut you off right there.
No. That's exactly, that's 100% it.
Yeah.
It's
plus anytime Yoda and the X-Wing, like that theme plays, I just sob. It's just,
there's that is my.
It might be my top 3.
There's 3 that I go with, and we're going to talk about this with Ashton. Shout out to Ashton. Ashton will be on the pod. We're actually interviewing him tomorrow when this is live right now. So tomorrow, as you're watching this,
literally tomorrow, yeah.
My 3 for themes are Leia's theme, Yoda lifts the X-wing, and Binary Sunset. Just if you want to cry, it's those 3, dude. And I know people will be like, Battle of the Heroes, Duel of the Fates, but like, I don't need them.
It's like a different. I feel like it's like an apples and oranges sort of thing.
Yep.
For me, underrated track from Rise of Skywalker is it's the theme for Poe, Finn, and Rey. It's just like, I think it's just called Friends or something.
I don't know if I remember that one off the top of my head.
Go back and listen to that one. It makes me so emotional, and I truly like. Listen, people dog on Rise of Skywalker all the time. I really enjoy that movie, man.
It's fun.
Like, no Star Wars movie is perfect. this is just the case. But God, like that
And
movie is such
that Rey versus Kylo on the like ruins of the Death Star, that's the one fight in Star Wars that doesn't have that doesn't have any music, is crazy, dude.
dude, and
Like
he's
that's
just,
a
like, he's just
wild choice.
And people will always be like, "Oh, I mean, Rey keeps beating Kylo in a fight." Rey's theme is so underrated.
Oh yeah, I say that all the time. It's phenomenal.
It's oh, it's so good. But yeah, but there's I think it might just be called Friends or Best Friends or something, and it's kind of got a similar melody to like to Yoda's theme a little bit, but it's just it feels like anytime I hear that theme, I think of all of them hugging after the Battle of Exegol, and I'm just like being able to get that little bit of like Poe thin and like I want more of that trio, dude. People always talk about Kylo being like, oh man, he gets beaten by Rey in the first one, and it's like, well, there's many reasons for that, but then you go to Last Jedi and they never fight. And they only work together. And then you go to Rise of Skywalker, and he just clowns on her every time.
He is dicing her up.
Like literally, he's just like, and I mean, she's getting staggered back. And then you get to the fight on the second Death Star ruins, and he is just not even putting an effort. And Rey is exhausting herself. The only reason why he loses is because Leia reaches out to him into the Force and brings that Han memory back.
Yep,
that is the only reason why he loses. No music, dude. Nothing, just pure silence, just a touch in the Force, and him immediately getting stun locked and her stabbing, and it like, I cannot wait for these kids who grew up with the sequels to start defending them, because I need there to be the sequel revolution.
Okay,
that's what. But yes, okay, so
dude,
so now
no, I totally agree with you. Like, I think, man, it'll be so fun when we're like 50 to like 50. Imagine we're 50 with a podcast. We're interviewing like people who are in their 20s after that, at that time, who grew up with the sequels.
Content creation in Star Wars 25 years ago.
I can't recommend Shadow of the Sith enough by Adam Christopher.
That's gonna be like our Thrawn trilogy, you know, like
dude, for real.
Okay. But now we have to figure out the top. We have to do some negotiating here, because we've got 3. Right, we have 3 or 4 of the same ones, just in different orders. Right, we have the top 2.
We have pretty much the same. I will put Yoda and Kenobi at 5 if you're okay with removing Yoda palps.
So what would the top 4 be? But you got here's what I'm proposing. Instead of Yoda palps, I have Yoda Kenobi. Yoda Attack of the Clones.
So I'm going to do this by the quotes that mean the most. When Yoda is talking to Kenobi and he says, truly wonderful the mind of the child is. That's at 5. Okay. Then 4 is Yoda and Anakin in the
room.
In the meditation rooms. Yep. Then at 3 is the Dagobah cave.
Mm-hmm. Only what you bring with you.
Then we have 1 and 2 left, and Are
you tempted to put the X-Wing moment at 1?
I almost am, but I don't know if that's just nostalgia. It's nostalgia hit for me. It's kind of like how a lot of people say A New Hope is the best Star Wars movie because it was the first one that came out. It's like, just because it was the first thing doesn't mean it was the best thing. However, dude, that all of Yoda training Luke on Dagobah is truly where like you and I sit for like why we love the mystical side of Star Wars. It's all from there. It is 100% built from those scenes. And in terms of like iconography, dude, maybe that is number 1. But I just think that the lesson, it's a 1-2 punch of the lesson. Like, you can't have one without the other. But to me personally, the Last Jedi moment, that lesson means more to me than And it to me, it's the same lesson,
it's
really.
one of my
but
favorite
like,
quotes in all of Star Wars, dude.
oh, it's one of my. It is truly the greatest teacher failure is we are what they
We can
grow
make that a
beyond.
hat.
Like,
We can make the
dude, somebody
TGS.
said Star Wars Center said hats when, and I don't remember what
Yeah.
we were talking about, but I'm assuming it has something to do with that.
Yeah.
We are what they grow beyond, dude. Yeah,
I think
I don't.
still
That 1
has
and
to
2
be
spot.
one. It changes for me, but I do think that Last Jedi moment is so powerful, and even if you are a sequel naysayer, you kind of love that moment, you know?
Yeah,
Because it's also so much
Gosh.
of Yoda's character, right? Of him, especially post Return of the Jedi, being like, you know, him still, even as a Force ghost, learning from all of his failures, right? And being like, Skywalker,
Dude.
don't
missed you. I have
don't
young
do-
Skywalker.
yeah, don't do what I did, man. Like I blame, like, me and Obi-Wan, we blamed ourselves for so long, and you were the one who was right. Like, we failed, and you taught us. Let me remind you, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Because Luke hadn't. I mean, Yoda lived for so long, dude, and Luke had. I mean, Luke is only like 53 in Last Jedi. You know, he'd not really had that major falling point. Like, I always will say this, that if I had all this legacy riding on me, and then I was the one that that I did that or even thought about doing that, right? And we all know, I literally thought about that this last night, that I'm like, Kylo was going to turn no matter what, right?
Yep.
He already says that Snoke had turned his heart.
Yep.
It was just the reaction of Luke being like, I can't even believe that I thought about doing that. And it's so human, because we're so used to, yeah, like Luke being that like infallible change for good. But I think that moment with Yoda is him being like, listen, man, you stumbled in that one moment, but you're still Luke Skywalker. You know, let this moment teach you. Don't let it break you down, because that's what it did to me. I went and hid out on a swamp for the longest time. I thought Vader was irredeemable, and you were the one who showed me that wasn't the case. You brought your father back. You have a chance to to pass on what you've learned, which is also a quote that he says right there.
Dude,
it's got to be number one.
There are like 10 top 10 Yoda quotes in just those 2 scenes. Like,
what literally, I'm like, you take the entire, literally every single line that he says on Dagobah. Like, we didn't even mention like,
luminous beings are we,
not
not this crude matter. Like,
yeah, I'm not
a
afraid,
Jedi, dude,
you will be.
Yeah, you will be.
And that's not even him saying it. I mean, he says it so menacingly, but he says it in more of the sense of like, you're going to be afraid, man. Like yeah. I appreciate your tenacity, but you know. And then of course that through line of one of my other favorite quotes from Luke is, confronting fear is the destiny of the Jedi. Dude, what's he learned from Yoda?
Bro, war does not make one great.
That's another one, bro. Oh, great warrior. Oh man. I mean, literally.
War truly, does not make one great.
Dude, also there is another, bro. There was another.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a great moment in general in Star Wars. But the ship flying away and Obi-Wan's Force Ghost dissipating into the shadows.
You will become an agent of evil.
Bro, Yoda's so goated. I love Yoda so much. We got to make a line of Yoda quote stuff.
Dude, this Yoda I've had since I was a little kid. It's literally right above my monitor, just staring at me the whole time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's like all tattered and stuff. I've had it. I got it from a downtown Disney
Yoda.
at Star Wars Weekend. This is what I got from Star Wars Weekend, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's literally just right above my monitor, just staring at me right by my camera the whole time.
I think number one has to be the Last Jedi moment. I by the way, I'm fine with that hierarchy. I'm cool with I do think that moment of him with the children is so pure and innocent, and so much
dude,
of the legacy of Yoda. As much as I love the like how tough Palpatine versus Yoda is, it's awesome, but it's more, these top 5 are so definitive of.
And we haven't even talked about the Phantom Menace, dude, with always 2 there are.
That was my honorable mention. That's one of my highest.
Also, like, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. Like from Phantom Menace, we didn't even say that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's in Phantom Menace. Wow, there's so many. See, the thing is, too, Yoda scenes and Yoda quotes are 2 different things almost.
Yeah. And we're doing Yoda moments, which is this weird sandwich hybrid of both.
I know.
Because if we were doing quotes, this might be easier to narrow down.
We didn't even talk about the back of his head in the Acolyte.
Come on, man.
For top 5 Yoda moments.
Come
Dude,
on.
I wish we got more Yoda in the Acolyte. Are you kidding me? I love the Acolyte, though. Acolyte rules.
Yeah.
Renew
We're
it. Season 2.
We're talking about Acolyte very soon.
Yeah.
My favorite moment is when Yoda goes, "It was an idea."
My favorite Yoda moment is it's just the back of his head.
What puppet do you think they used in Acolyte?
I don't know.
You
I
think
put that on Twitter and it kind of blew up when I was like, if Yoda pops up in the Acolyte, I want it to be a puppet, but will it be The Last Jedi or Phantom Menace? And like a ton of people were like, it has to be Phantom Menace because it's before, or no, it has to be because it's gotta be. Like, people are so wild about stuff like that.
Sonny,
dude.
it's coming. We've been planning for it. We actually have a reason of why we are holding out.
Yes.
Because of something literally in 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude, that's 2 weeks away. Yeah, by Denver. See you there, Manny. Okay, so our top 5 is.
It's tough.
Where did I write it down? Okay, our top 5 at number 5 is Yoda assisting Kenobi looking for Kamino.
Lost the planet.
True. Lost a planet, Master Kenobi has. Number 4 is Yoda and Anakin's conversation in the meditation room in Revenge of the Sith. Number 3, only what you take with you, from Dagobah before Luke goes into the cave. Number 2 is Yoda lifting the X-Wing, which in my head, I loop luminous beings are we, not the screwed matter, him explaining the Force. I loop that all into the same thing, dude. It's all the same. And number 1...
It's all of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, dude. And number 1 is The Last Jedi. The greatest teacher failure is we are what they grow beyond. Damn.
I'm cool with that.
That's the 5. I'm cool with that. There's so many. There's literally a top 30 of Yoda quotes, and they're all gas.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's insane. I mean, like,
yeah.
Yoda is...
Bro!
What did you forget?
I didn't forget anything. I made a cool connection. And the synapses are firing in my brain right now for Star Wars.
Yeah.
When Yoda says the greatest teacher failure is, and him being what he refers to as the greatest failure of the Jedi, and him being the greatest teacher in Star Wars, him being the failure, the greatest teacher failure is, it's like, I am the greatest teacher, even though I'm the one who I consider my own failures. Like, I know he's not saying that, but that's also he's not like the greatest teacher failure is, and guess whose name is also failure. And the Wheezy F baby, and the F is for failure. It's like it truly is. Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, it's him being like, listen, if I failed this bad to where the entire Jedi Order was wiped out, you're good, man.
Yep.
Get back up.
And with and truly, if you were to consider that with the, I hate saying it, but if you were to consider that with the will of the Force, he was still allowed to become a Force ghost. He still became a Force ghost. If he was at all unworthy or unbalanced from that, he wouldn't have become a Force ghost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were all truly balanced in themselves to become
the
Force
Force
ghosts.
Doesn't require perfection.
No.
Leia became a Force ghost, and she didn't even fully train as a Jedi. She understood the fundamentals.
Yep.
She wasn't abiding by the traditional. Yeah, dude. It's. I mean, even.
Do you think we're gonna see Ahsoka as a Force ghost?
We gotta.
Do you think she would be a Force ghost? Do you think she would just become like some weird Mortis thing?
I'd be fine with that.
It's some secret third thing where she just becomes some weird vision of Mortis.
I still want her to be the daughter, man. Still want her to be the daughter.
Yeah. All right. I know we were gonna do that other thing, but I mean, we're already an hour and a half in. You want to do the giveaway?
No, I want to do the.
You want to do the top 5? Okay.
I'm already.
I feel like this
is
going to take a long time, though, dude. Okay.
No, it's not. I think I've got it. I've been thinking.
Okay. Um,
Go ahead and say the one that you're itching to talk about, because
I don't
already
even know if it counts though, because it's not canon. Here's the thing. We're going to put this is the number one above our top 5, no matter what it is. The greatest Luke Skywalker. Okay. These are the top 5 best Luke Skywalker outfits. Off the bat, just because it doesn't even, it fills in all 5 spots. It is the best of all time. Is Luke Skywalker in the fishing vest in Shadows of the Empire. I'm sorry. It's the coolest anybody has ever looked. He is wearing a fishing vest, dude. And it is the coolest anyone has ever looked. It is the best suit in Star Wars by far. You have a flight suit and you have a vest. Give him a lightsaber. Woo! That's the best. That's the best Luke Skywalker outfit. I am sorry.
It's totally not on the list though, because it's Jedi outfit.
It's not canon. It's not canon. I'm sorry. Shadows of the Empire is not canon. As much as I love it, it's not canon, and I understand that. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's actually talk about the top 5.
Okay, I have 2 that if they're not on the list, I will crash out because they are such good costume design, and we've been very Last Jedi pilled this episode.
Oh, it is high on my top 5 if it's the one that you're talking about.
So I like both of them. Not the one that he's on the island, the one that he's wearing his Jedi Grandmaster outfit.
See, I don't like the Jedi Grandmaster white and gold.
What?
I don't like them.
No, dude. It's so
I don't
good.
like them. I don't like them because I don't like them.
It's such a good blend of classic Jedi and new Jedi. He's got the belt on, bro.
I get it, and it looks cool. I'm just like,
he's got the exposed. He doesn't have the glove.
I know.
Hands.
It's just a robo hand. I think him on the island is better than that with like the poncho.
Well, okay, so we can say the one that we're agreeing with is his projection outfit, which is
that is Luke as a force projection with the black robes, with the white underneath, and the brown accents with the belt and the boots.
Should we pull up images of this? Should we be doing that right now?
No, because I'll put it up later.
Oh, okay.
There's 8 people in here. Fine. They know what we're talking about. Okay? Watch the clip later so we get views on it. I
call that Luke's Jedi Master adventuring robes. That's what I call that. And I love
because then we see it in the comics too with Ben. It's literally what he's wearing right here for Shadows of the Sith. Like that is what he's wearing.
That's why I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the hot toy right now.
It's so sick.
My internet connection is. Oh, look at this. Hold on.
Okay, where is it? Where is it?
Sharing this.
Where is it? So,
where is it at on the list?
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet is bugging out right now.
No, it's all good, dude. Do you want me to pull it up? I can pull it up.
I got it. I just shared it. Can you see it?
Yeah, dude, that's so sick.
Dude. Look at this, bro.
Yeah, it's sick, dude.
This hot take, this might be number 1.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. That's not number 1. I will tell you it might be number 3.
Okay. So
you're
gonna hate me.
There are 2 that are better, but that might be number 3. Here, take it off screen. Take it off screen.
Okay.
But it's really cool. So, extremely cool. I'm sorry, it's extremely cool, but it is not number 1.
Will, you're gonna hate me. There is a better version of his Return of the Jedi outfit, and it's in Mando Season 2. It's the one where he's got the tabards. He has the all black belt. He's got the full black cloak.
Too much clothes. Him in Return of the Jedi with the flap down is the best. Number 2. Here's let me learn you something.
No.
Number 1 is Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi with the flap down. a close 1B of that. If that's 1A, 1B is him with the gray tattered at the beginning of Return of the Jedi with the brown over top, which is very similar to him in Last Jedi. Very similar. But that is 1B. It's the Jedi robes.
But his Mando all black, where it's the continuation of the Return of the Jedi.
I'm not saying it's not good, but I just think it's a little over stylized for my taste when it comes to it.
It's just Luke, but if he was more proper Jedi.
But no. The Last Jedi.
God forbid a man wear layers.
Dude, the Last Jedi version is the way that Mando Luke, in my opinion, should have looked. In my opinion, Last Jedi Luke from the Force projection is how he should have looked versus Mando all black. I understand why it was all black. I love it. I love those scenes. I love him in it. However, I think both the Last Jedi robes, the Last Jedi Force projection black robes, and the beginning of Return of the Jedi, those robes with the gray, both do Jedi robes on Luke better than just solid black Mando Jedi robes. I would give it a 4. Here's a hot take. There's one that I think people are going to be really sad that it's not on here, that I don't think makes it on here at all.
Is it Bespin Luke?
No, Bespin Luke is my number 2. Bespin Luke, because Bespin Luke is also Dagobah Luke. It's the same thing.
Not really, but okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
He's wearing the jacket before he goes in the cave. It's the same thing.
He's not wearing it on Dagobah. He takes it off for the whole time, and then he puts it back on.
No, he takes it off when he's training, but before he goes in the cave, he's wearing the jacket. Both time he fights Vader as a Force projection and as regular Vader, he is wearing the jacket. When he's in Yoda's hut, when he's in Yoda's hut, he's wearing the jacket. When Yoda is beating the crap out of R2, he's wearing the jacket.
I get it, but that's not really okay. What is the one that's not on here that you want that people are gonna be upset about?
Luke wearing the first ever Luke outfit on Tatooine.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
I don't think that's on here.
Okay. Can we agree that somewhere on here, X-Wing suit Luke is on here?
That was my number 5.
I agree. That'll be number 5. Okay.
X-Wing Luke is my number 5.
Okay, perfect.
X-Wing Luke at number 5. Number 4 is where I would put Mando Luke.
See, I'd put...
Don't say Yavin Celebration gold jacket, Luke. Don't.
No, I do like that look, but no. And if we were talking about comic looks, there'd be a lot more on here. But I think the movie looks sweet.
Another non-canon, and I know it's only in promotional photos. Him with the black shirt and the brown pants that looks so much like Han when he's holding Carrie and he's got the lightsaber out. That is such a badass look on Luke Skywalker, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's just his Yavin Celebration without the jacket.
Without the jacket, yeah.
Underrated from the comics. That's a perfect blend of Last Jedi and Jedi Master Luke or whatever.
Are you going to say when it's the white shirt underneath and it's the gray, like from that panel where he's standing in front of the temple? Yep. That's when he's talking about the doors.
Yep. That's my honorable mention. I don't know if I'd put it in the top 5, but also isn't he wearing that when he's talking to Leia when she's training as a Jedi, when they're talking in that comic from last year? Do you remember that? It was the Soul
but
comic.
he's got a robe on.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he's got a robe on. Is
it not the same? Doesn't matter.
I don't know, but I know exactly what you're talking about from that comic panel where it's from the Kylo Ren flashbacks, and he's talking about some doors. The Force is like some people have doors that are more open than others,
or like a river. You know?
Yeah, that's a really good Luke Skywalker.
Okay, I'm gonna before we get into the top because I think we can agree what the top are, but the thing is
I will not stand for Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi when he throws away his lightsaber as anything less than number 1.
No.
I'm sorry.
Not that's okay. In the top 3. It's in the top 3.
It's number 1. It's top 3 and it's number 1.
The one that I want at number 5, if we can move X-Wing Luke up, is I want Jedi Grandmaster Luke on there. I want that. I want it at number 5. And I will forfeit Mando Luke entirely.
Wow, do you like Grandmaster Luke more than Mando Luke?
Listen, that the thing is those are like, that's a continuation. Those are like a parallel because they look very similar, but it's the color that changes.
He's got like a full skirt on though. He looks more like
That's
like Ben.
But that's what I'm saying is it's like, because in Mando he's got the tabards and everything, but then it's the Grandmaster is like he's gotten rid of all the black.
Yeah,
like he's in the full Jedi garb. That's why I like it, because I love seeing, and even like down to like, that's what I imagine him training like apprentices and stuff. Like, okay, we can get maybe to that number 5 in a little bit. I'll debate you. I want, just put Return of the Jedi Luke at number 1. I'm fine.
Here's what I'm saying is the top 5, and we can move from here, and you can tell me if I am wrong. Number 1 is Return of the Jedi Final Battle
yes.
Luke.
Yes.
Number 2 is Bespin Luke, Cloud City Luke, wearing the Bespin fatigues. Number 3 is TLJ Luke, the Force projection Luke. 4 is X-Wing. 5, I would say Mando. You might say Grandmaster.
I'm not gonna have 2 all black Luke fits on here. I'm just not gonna do it.
I apologize.
They're too similar.
I apologize, but Luke has so many cool, bro. Luke from the deleted scene where he's got the goggles on in the sandstorm and the brown over, and it's like the dusty Return of the Jedi
right.
black. Oh my God. That is so cool. And I cannot stand that that's a deleted scene, but I'm not going to say George Lucas was incorrect. But that is just so cool. Bro, the Return of the Jedi hot toy comes with that outfit where you can put the jacket on with the goggles.
Oh, what?
Yeah, dude. It's
toy, dude.
sick, bro. It's literally, I put it in my cart on eBay all the time and take it out.
So here's what I'm pleading and arguing for. All right. I am in complete agreement. Return of the Jedi Luke at number 1, because I'm not anticipating Mando Luke the full that fit to be on there. As much as I love it, I would rather forfeit that and have Return of the Jedi Luke at number 1, because that is like his, in my mind, Luke in the all black, no matter which way you chop it, whether it's him on the sail barge or whatever, is number 1 for me. So cool. Specifically Return of the Jedi Luke peak. Again, also with the flap down and everything.
Yes.
And he's got the belt out. Number 2, I would put Last Jedi, all of that.
I am okay with that.
And then I'd put Bespin at 3.
I am okay with that.
And then I'd put Luke X-Wing at number 4.
I am okay with that.
And then I'd get rid of Mando, because we have all black at number 1 for Return of the Jedi, and then I'd put Jedi Grandmaster at number 5.
The only other Luke outfit that I would say potentially hits the 5 spot is Luke on Hoth.
Oh, in the cold
with
weather
the Wampa,
gear?
With the snow gear.
I like that look a lot. It's just, it doesn't. I mean, I guess I could say the same thing about Grandmaster Luke's. It just maybe doesn't last a whole lot, but it is really good.
It's really good.
And I love that scene, and I love the goggles, and I love the
Ben Dagobah system. Ben.
Also because Luke pulling the lightsaber out of the snow is one of my favorite scenes. Like,
yeah,
I just love that scene. Ooh.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Ricky said no back to tank Luke.
That's
his
crazy,
diaper.
Ricky.
Is
there a Luke fit that we're missing? I guess we could say Endor Luke, but that's black with just a poncho over it.
I think his hat's kind of silly.
I actually really like the Endor Rebellion hats.
I love them on a Rebel Commando. I don't like them on Luke. That's like a weird double.
Yeah, I guess.
I see it on Leia and I see it on the troopers, but Luke, I'm just like, bro, I want him to have that fit on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sonny, I'm sorry.
It's not.
Luke,
it's not.
It's just not.
It's incredibly iconic. It's not on the top 5.
I just think he looks like a dork.
Yeah, he's super dorky. I was going to Natasha Station to pick up some power converters. The way that line is delivered is exactly how that outfit looks.
Dude, underrated Legends look as well as Luke, but with the tank top, where it's like kind of like him training on Dagobah,
Bro,
but it's all black.
dude, when Luke has the black tank top and the X-wing suit is like tied by his waist from Shadows of the not Shadows of the Empire. Why am I Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
Oh, yeah.
When he's got from that cover where he's got the black, or honestly the all black with the tank top from Heir to the Empire.
Was that a Drew Struzan cover?
I think that was Hugh Fleming.
Or is it Hugh Fleming? Okay, sometimes I get them swapped up because they're very like photorealistic.
Is it Drew Struzan? Is it?
I don't know.
I gotta look this up now.
Because there's only 4 covers for Splinter of the Mind's Eye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, now I need to know. Because a lot of those guys, I get very confused. Because there's also... Who did the ones for Dark Empire? That's Hugh Fleming, right?
Dark Empire is Hugh Fleming.
Then maybe Splinter is Hugh Fleming as well. That's just us checking ourselves.
Hugh Fleming. Yep, that is Hugh.
Okay, gotcha.
Bro, goat.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the Last Jedi crate outfit for Luke, and like,
it's so good.
I also forget he has a brown glove, which is
dude. You know what's also sick? There's that one comic cover where he's got the black shirt on and the brown pants, but he's also got a cloak and he's got that yellow lightsaber. It's from the Star Wars 50, where it's the 50 issue run.
Yes, the one in between, Empire and Jedi.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think
he's got the yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, he's got the yellow saber. There's also one that he wears when he's like on Jeddah, after A New Hope, but it's like, it's so unnecessarily aura farming. Like,
yeah,
it's like him, and he's basically like what it looks like Starkiller's like ceremonial Jedi robes.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Luke, you're doing a little too much right now. You're not that guy yet, you know?
Completely forgot to mention. I know it's not canon, but Luke in the giant cape and cowl from Dark Empire, gas.
Oh, with the collar and the
where he
belts?
He looks like Vader. Like, dude, that is so sick. Say what you will about Dark Empire.
We could do a different 5 for Luke Legends, truly.
Yeah, Legends Luke is different, but this is just canon.
Him
and the Yuzon Vong suit from bro.
But then you also have him with like the slick back hair too. That Jedi Grandmaster Luke, that key art of him with all of the Jedi, and he's got the hair back and he's like 40, you know. Really good.
Yeah, dude. See, that's what I prefer when it's the brown robes.
Brown.
When it's like that, where he looks more like Obi-Wan when it comes to him being old in the Master outfit. I get that the Grandmaster Luke was supposed to look more like the High Republic era of Luke.
Was it?
Yeah, dude. He's dressed like Vernestra in that suit.
I mean, it's just more cream colors. It's not really yellow.
Yeah, but then they switch like to but he's also got the white, and we don't see a lot of Jedi wearing white undergarments. You know what I mean?
That's true. The white always reminded me of Yoda, and also really Old Ben, because Old Ben's robes are very white colored.
I always thought of it more as like the way the High Republic looked. I totally.
It's interesting.
Agree
the High
with
Republic
the way.
Didn't maybe they. Yeah, I don't know.
I always thought that they did that because of the High Republic stuff.
It's weird though, because High Republic didn't exist until 2020, so there's no way. It's also the fit that he wears as a Force Ghost, bro. The Grandmaster one.
Yeah, I still
really
wish he was wearing the TLJ as a Force Ghost.
But that's more like, I'm about to mess stuff up, Luke.
Yeah, I guess, but he also would have looked more like he did when he saw the Force Ghosts in Return of the Jedi wearing that, and then for him to become a Force Ghost wearing that.
But see, I always think of like Anakin in the like more Ben Kenobi style robes at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but I guess then when you see him in he's different when you see him in Ahsoka.
He's wearing the more Revenge of the Sith robes.
Yeah, there are those covers from the Star Wars in between Empire and Return of the Jedi where Luke is wearing the black underneath and he's wearing the brown Jedi robes over the black. Where he's just like got two outfits on at the same time. Like, you remember the issues where he goes to find and he finds that Yoda hologram, and then he talks to Yoda from the Force Vision. He's like, "I know you're not here, Master. Why are you following me?" Those issues, he's wearing like black underneath with the robes over.
When does this take place in the timeline?
This is when he's got the yellow saber.
Oh, okay. So between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I believe it's like issue 20 or something like that.
Okay. I don't remember how long was the Star Wars run between A New Hope and Empire. Wasn't that one pretty long?
Yeah, I feel like that one was way long. Can I tell you a Luke outfit that I really don't like?
What's that?
From that same time frame of those comics where Luke has it could have been so sick, where he's got the black undershirt, he's got like grayish pants, he's got the brown jacket, but the brown jacket is like rolled up on his sleeves for some reason. I think that looks dorky.
What? I like that outfit. I just wish that the collar on the jacket was popped and that it wasn't a turtleneck, but I love the the rolled up sleeves.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for rolled up sleeves. I just think it's more so because he has the turtleneck. He looks like The Rock in that one picture, where he's like, okay, so we've got the top. We agree in the top 4. It's just now at this 5 spot. Are we choosing Mando Season 2 Luke, or are we choosing Grandmaster Luke? And I'm leaning towards Grandmaster Luke because I think the reason I wanted Mando Luke on there is what was higher was because I think it's the better version of the Return of the Jedi outfit. But since Return of the Jedi is number 1, I don't really want Mando Season 2 Luke on there because it's too similar.
What if we both don't get what we want and we say Luke dressed as a stormtrooper from A New Hope?
I do love him dressed as a stormtrooper.
I do as well.
I
really like when he's dressed as a stormtrooper. And like right out of the trash compactor, and he's got the slicked back hair, dude. Yeah, bro.
Do we just put that at 5?
We both don't get what we want for our 5 spot, and we do that instead. I'm fine with that.
Sure, why not?
Okay, cool. Number 5. Okay, so our top 5 Luke Skywalker outfits. Number 1 is Return of the Jedi Luke, or I'll go from 5. Number 5, Luke as a stormtrooper in A New Hope. Number 4. Wait, did we have Bespin Luke at number 3 or X-Wing Luke at number 3?
We had Bespin.
Bespin at 4, and then X-Wing at 3?
We had Bespin at 3 and X-Wing at 4.
Okay. So number 4 is Luke X-Wing pilot suit. Number 3 is Bespin fatigues. Number 2 is Luke from The Last Jedi Force Vision or Force Projection. And number 1 is all black Return of the Jedi Luke.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. I will say.
Number 1.5 is...
let's just talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. The one that doesn't even need to be on the list, the best Luke Skywalker has ever looked, is him in Shadows of the Empire with that fishing vest on, dude, with the all black underneath and his Luke B2 green saber. That is the coolest anybody has ever looked.
Sunny is killing me. She said, unironically, Stormtrooper Luke is the hottest Mark Hamill has ever looked.
That's funny.
That's great.
We should probably do this giveaway.
Are we in sync right now? Let me compile the last entries because I got to go on Instagram here and make sure we got everybody. This is your final chance. Let's do it. It bumped up to 21 comments, so we got a couple.
Whoa.
Okay. We got wait, what are you?
Oh my gosh. Ricky said you guys missed an outfit. He just sent me an outfit. He just DM'd it to both of us. It's when Mark Hamill's wearing the gold thing from when he was like in a theater production.
Oh, what?
Dude, that's so funny. It's like Disco Luke.
I'm sure someone is saying Luke, but from the holiday special. Okay.
He's just wearing the X-Wing suit in that, though, right? Like outfit wise,
Yeah,
like other than
but
the caked on makeup he's got.
I was about to
But that was
say,
after
he's
he's in that car accident.
Yeah, he was all glammed up.
Yeah.
Okay, we got no new entries, so it's just the 10 that I have in here. Do you want to share my screen?
Yeah, let's do it. Hold on. Let me.
If you were in the chat, I'm gonna. All right, perfect. Meow 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 meow. Present. I always forget how to do this because I'm bad at my job. Beautiful. Can you see that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. All right. I'm spinning the wheel. Meow. Is it the homie? Yo, may the Lord. I said with you. It's be with you. I just am bad at.
Dude,
typing.
so sorry to Sonny. Sonny almost won that, dude. That's a bummer.
I know. Well, listen, you can still purchase the shirt or purchase any of the shirts on Gory Comics website. YFDYR15. I don't know if that code is going anywhere. I'll have to communicate with him, but it should be active for a little while. So go get you a little bit of a discount. But I'm homies with May the Lord be with you. So I will I'll get him in contact with Gory Comics. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the stream. You got anything else left over?
No, that's all we got. Interviewing Ashton tomorrow. So we'll be talking to Ashton tomorrow. So that'll be another pre-recorded interview that'll come out this weekend after record on Tuesday, tomorrow. And then we'll see you again for Monday next week to talk about Star Wars and talk about whatever else. Thanks to Gory Comics for choosing us to do that. This is actually a really sick shirt. I love Yoda, and it's one of the best Yoda quotes of all time. And in our opinion, it is the number 2 most iconic Yoda moment. But other than that, I think that's it. You got anything else?
Nope. Other than the greatest teacher failure is.
May the Force be with you always. Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Don't ever forget it. The greatest teacher failure is. Read them, have you? Page turners there.
Always remember.